Hello, everyone. Welcome to Opinions New by Dr. Frank Tianshi. I'm Frank. Yeah. In this episode, my topic is why fans abound for Trump, but not for Biden. Okay. In this year's election, I think I found something quite interesting. Let's not talk about the mainstream media. We have seen so much of their lies or biased reports, and also biased, polls, untruthful polls. Right? But if we just look at those campaign rallies, right, social medias and other media, aside from mainstream media, we can easily see that the number of people who are supporting Trump, and those people who are actually against Trump, right? In other words, they're all around Trump, right? Either support or for or against Trump. There's so many of them, right? But if you look at the number of people who are concerned about Biden, either supporting him or against him, that number is much smaller. Okay? For example, a good example here, uh, former Vice President Biden had a rally in Florida on October 13th, right? And there are really not that many people, maybe a few dozens, right? A lot of cars, trucks, in front of the stadium. And then we later found that he was actually reading from the teleprompter, like a huge TV screen in front of him. Okay? And then on the day before, October 12th, also in Florida, there was a Trump rally. Okay? And that rally, attracted, hundreds of thousands of people, even tens of thousands of people. They packed whole, parking lot or tarmac, in the airport, just not too far from the runway, because you can see the Air Force One in the background. Okay? And many of such kind of phenomena also took place in other key states like Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia. Now, why is that? Why is that? What's the impact of that for the election on November the 3rd? Okay? Also, among Chinese American voters, on social media, and I have on my Twitter account, I have about over 10,000 fans or followers. I see a lot of their opinions, right? Many people on social media, Chinese social media, they ask the same questions, similar questions. They ask, the question like, how come there are fans for Trump and they're also enemies of Trump, but not much of fans for Biden or enemies of Biden, right? Of course, the fans for Trump are the ones who are supporting Trump, right? And that's indeed the case. If you look at the numbers, because there are many people who would post a poll on Twitter, to give you like 4 or 5 choices, you can easily get hundreds of thousands of people voting. If you can give set a timer for like 24 hours, a few days, or a week. I did some polls, before, found some quite interesting results. Right? You can look at those polls, kind of like ad hoc polls, and also you can see the number of people who are for and against, each candidate. Okay? And there are in the Chinese community, I think there are many Trump supporters. Right? There are also many Trump haters. They don't like Trump. Right? There are fewer compared with Trump supporters, but there are not that many of them. But they have a big voice. I can see that they put out a lot of posts, and recordings, arguments, on the social media. Right? Among them, seems to me, there are some diehard Democrat supporters of Democratic Party supporters, right? And there are also people I heard that they don't like Trump's personality, right? And there are also left, intellectuals, academia type of people, who are leaning towards the left. Yeah. There are also people from Chinese Communist Party. and they call it the fifth fleet of Chinese Communist Army, PLA, People's Liberation Army. And there's also, we call the 50 cents. That's a part of Chinese grand propaganda scheme. And also, there are people who are bought by the Chinese, in the Chinese Communist Party slogan, they call this the united part of a united front, okay? And but how many people are supporting Trump or supporting Biden, right, or against one another? And seems to me, in my observation, right, in Chinese social media, in the Chinese language social media, those people participating in Chinese social media, I would say, I'll give you an example. I have about 10,000 followers. Okay? Out of 10,000 followers, 20% is from China, mainland China, right? And about 40% from the US. And that's 40%, and that's 60%. The other 40% are from all over the world, right? Mostly Chinese speaking and many non-Chinese speaking and English speaking. Right? But among those, from my observation on social media, in Chinese social media, about 90% of people are supporting Trump and 10% supporting Biden. Right? And also, among those 90% of people who are supporting Trump, about 20% of them are kind of like strongly against Biden. But among the 10% of total the observation, the sample I have, of the 10% of people who are supporting Biden, most of them, 90% of them, those 10% or 9%, they are also trying hard to smear Trump. Okay? So in other words, most of the people who are for Trump are doing so because they like Trump, love Trump, and support Trump, and they don't pay much attention to Biden. Right? But most of the people who are supporting Biden, on the other hand, they're also very active in smear Trump because they really hate Trump. I think this observation is in agreement with what people believed before. That is, those who are in support of Trump are the ones who really love Trump attentively. They agree with Trump on his campaign, his ideal, and they support him. Right? But on the other side, those who are against Trump and support Biden, many of them do so because they hate Trump, not because they love Biden. In other words, for Mr. Biden, really not many people like him. I think he's just a puppet for the left, right? And I think that's the reason, or the rationale that we can use to explain why there's so many people showing up for Trump rally and very enthusiastic, but not that many appearing at the Biden rally. Okay? Many people believe that this American election, this general election, is like a very colorful, interesting book. People are reading it one page after another. They really slowly reading it, slowly understand them, try to study it and understand them. And then they see a lot of the evils, in the details. Evils is really in the details, right? And then some of them have become Trump supporters, right? And also, I found that many Americans, Native Americans. I mean, I'm not talking about Indian American. I'm not Americans, not like us, new immigrants. But they also felt that those people, Native Americans, they have found that as the election or the campaign progresses, they felt that the situation is very dire and even dangerous, right? Because they have never seen this in their lifetime, and they all feel that many felt that if Trump loses and the left wins, And that's not only the death of American democracy and freedom, but also symbolizes a dark age for the world and big calamity for humanity. And I agree with that. Okay? And many people, especially those people who did not come out to vote in 2016, are coming out this time to vote. I think this election touches upon things positive and negative, both positive and negative. On the positive side, we have seen that the people who believe in God, in heaven, believers, peace-loving people, religious people, churchgoers, Orthodox Jews, right? And also Amish people who do not normally, come out to vote. And also many of Chinese Americans, Asian Americans who never, usually did not come out to vote before, right? And also many people, African Americans, who are from this Black exit movement. I think they're all these people. They will come here, stand up, step forward, and not hiding their opinion anymore. And they are uh, showing their full support of Trump. I think it's because they realize that this is not just like a regular general election that we had before in the past 200 years. This is really election that affects the future and the fate of America and the future of the world, and whether humanity can, go through this the, let's say the control of the evil specters, the specters of communist evil and the Chinese communists. Right? So this is really a very, very critical, election battle. Okay? This election also, in my opinion, affects or embodies or has touched upon many negative factors, okay? Negative aspects. Okay? That's because we can see that the campaign slogans of Trump, his ideologies or his ideas, and also his 3 years of practice as president. You know, his way of things. He's returning to tradition and conservatism, and back to the true life, the value of life. Yeah, and restoring hope and the belief in God. And restoring law and order, right? And that all these touched upon the chiefs of many people, and these people, I think those people who are choosing like a progressionist, and choosing liberal, and the anarchy, and those who are for atheist, and the theories of evolution in denial of creation, and those people who just have their disregard and disrespect of law and order, and they are actually all united under the banner of communism and socialism. So we can have seen that. Okay? I think they are leading America to destruction. Right? And that's why they are so mad in fighting against Trump. And there's so many people who are smearing Trump. And I don't think these people are truly fans of Joe Biden. I don't think they really like Biden. I think they believe that Biden is not leftist enough, not extreme enough, right? Poor Biden, old gentleman. I think he's a nice person, nice old gentleman, but he's hijacked by the extreme left, and this election could be last stop in his political career of over 47 years. Okay? And if he loses election, I think he will. People will forget about him. But those people who are using him, right? Those leftists, extreme leftist people who are using him will just push him away off the road and continue the path to, to the extreme left and to socialism. As a person from socialist country of China, run by communist Chinese communists, I know this is the road to total destruction. Okay? So this is why that we all understand that this election of 2020, January election 2020, is highly expected, highly watched, by not only people from America but from all over the world. It's because we know this is a real fight, the final battle between conservatism and traditionalism, and that forces on the left, extremist, and socialism. Okay. In Georgia, I live in Georgia, and we know that in Georgia, the early voting started on October 12th, a few days ago, 5 days ago. This is among the first, states in the country that has their have their early voting. What surprised many people is that on the day, the first day of Georgia's early voting, many people, they waited for 10 hours. 10 hours. Now, most Americans are not that patient. If you look at how long they wait for service at the bank or some offices, government offices. Right? Now, this is the high rate of turnout, high voter turnout is a key for this long wait line. Right? And before the voting center, voting center opens, many people that before dawn, many people were waiting on the parking lot and on nearby streets. The line was so long; it was amazing. Right? Georgia Secretary of State Jordan Fuchs said that as of Monday night, Monday is the first day, and on Monday night, 120,000 people, Georgians, voted in early voting. That's amazing. Okay? But I think that what the long line of waiting in Georgia's early voting is a reflection. I think it symbolizes what's going to happen in the country nationwide. And I think voters want to vote ahead of time as early as possible for concerns over the pandemic, the virus, of course, and also because I think it's because they're concerned about the voting, mail voting, and other things, and also that shows how people care about the outcome of this election. Right? So back to my topic of why there are the fans of Trump abound, and not so much so for Biden. Doesn't mean anything, or is it meaningful? Yes, of course it's meaningful. Yeah. When Trump has so many fans, right, so many supporters, and the people those supporters, eager, enthusiastic supporters, they're more likely to go vote, and then the winning for Trump is going to be higher, right? And in fact, both parties, the Democrat and Republicans, they both are eagerly, encouraging their supporters to vote, because they want them to vote, because they know that to express their support in words or is one thing, to show your support in action, in voting, is another thing. We all know that we may want to go vote one day on Tuesday the 3rd, but sometimes it could be because we're lazy, or because of other chores, other things, emergencies coming up, traffic jam, or long line of waiting, and then we just forget about it, give up on waiting, voting, and go back home or go to work. Right? It happens, but only people who are truly fans, super fans of the candidate, or show their true devotion or to support one candidate or another, are the ones who will spend hours and hours waiting and cast their vote. Okay? So that's interesting. I think that's my take on this is there's so many fans for Trump, even the fans against Trump, but there are not so many people caring about paying attention to Biden, such that I think something is changing in our world today. I think the good forces are gaining upper hand in our world. Excuse me, our world is becoming a better one. That's my opinion. Thank you. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.